All right. So Vlad, we did one whole package so far, which means 20 lessons. And I was just going to ask
Mhm.
you a few questions to see what your experience was like and what you thought about this package. Let's go ahead and
All right.
jump right into it. My first question is, what expectations did you have going into this program, and what actually happened when you started doing the program?
Yeah. So I joined the program to improve my pronunciation, and also I wanted to study English a bit, and especially with an American speaking person, and that expectation was definitely met. Um, I also wanted a bit of grammar, maybe, but mostly it was the accent that I wanted to study, and for that I believe that conversation, like speaking freely, is the best way to improve, and especially talking with another person who speaks the same accent that I'm trying to learn. And that was definitely met. We had a lot of free conversations in the lessons. What was very nice was the topics or the topics of the lessons.
That's actually related to the next question I wanted to ask. Would you say that's your favorite thing about my program and the way that I teach, or did you have something else that was your favorite?
Yes, that's my favorite thing is that each lesson has a specific topic and a very interesting topic, at least for me, because I'm interested in personal development, and the topics you chose were related to a lot of things like choosing your environment and productivity tips, getting things done, and but not only this, only also philosophical topics, and it sparked a lot of interesting discussions, and then also in my mind and in my life it sparked some ideas and some changes, which,
Okay,
yes, this is my favorite part. Yeah.
interesting. I'm going to ask you about that more specifically later on. But the next question I wanted to ask was related to your pronunciation or your accent reduction. You kind of mentioned that before. So, in what
Mhm.
way did my lessons improve your accent or your pronunciation?
Well, there's a lot of reading during the lessons. um, there are also some new words and I also have to read those, so I think reading helps a lot aloud, and also the conversations where we just talk freely, and where the accent is not put on, I don't know, the rules of if and which past tense I use, but just by the idea and the words, and then it's very easy to talk, and I think that, yeah, talking helps a lot.
Okay, nice. So, there was less emphasis on grammar and more on the speaking aspect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't know. I don't know if that's a general thing in your lessons or if it was
It's
specifically
intentional.
tailored for me.
I specifically don't focus on grammar so that people
Mhm.
can gather that can get that sort of confidence to speak more freely without struggling with focusing on the grammar.
Okay,
Um,
so it wasn't for me.
that's something I do with all my learners.
Okay, okay.
What would you say is the most difficult or the most uncomfortable aspect when it comes to this program?
The most difficult. Well, I didn't see any difficult parts. Mm, there was something, I mean, difficult, but not in the program, but with me, because I've started writing stuff in a journal, and then I didn't write anymore. And at some point, I felt guilty for not writing. In the meantime, I've written some stuff, but not definitely not a regular basis. So I think that was the most difficult part. No, there is no difficult part. It's
Okay, not sure if that's a good or bad thing. Maybe it's because you're pretty good already at speaking, but I think the practice still helped. But what about getting results? Did you notice after a certain point of time, like how long did it take until you started seeing results?
I don't know because it's I mean I've recorded my voice and I think I'm getting better, but it's hard for me because I'm a bit subjective. But I have a friend and I've also practiced a bit of English during our lunch. And at the end he was like, I don't know why you are taking English lessons. You're you shouldn't be spending your money on this type of lessons if your English is so good. So yeah, I don't know. From the outside, I think there is some improvement.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider
Um,
that like a moment when you realized um would you consider that to be like the moment when you realized that your English is actually good enough? Like share like a specific experience or a moment when you felt like there was a breakthrough in your speaking ability.
well, I think that for once that now I can also, besides speaking, I can also understand. I think one thing which changes, I hear the words in songs, for instance, and before I would hear the theme, the melody, but I wouldn't really hear the words unless I intentionally tried to really hard. Now it's much easier.
Interesting. So now it's happening more like on a subconscious level, maybe.
Yeah, and the same for like watching shows without subtitles, and which is yeah, it's nice.
I love
And
asking this question.
for speaking, yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, I'm yeah, I'm in in the comfort zone when I'm speaking in English. So now I do have some speeches that I say, and yeah, English is not a problem.
Gotcha. So did you notice any specific techniques or any strategies that I use in my lessons that for you was particularly effective?
Um, Besides the conversation, which definitely helps, and I think this is the most effective thing. But besides this, sense where we there was something that I should describe as short as possible, like in one sentence and in the same time, like exact as possible. And that also helped me mm, say things effectively, so with less words.
Mm-hmm. So it helped you be more
Right?
concise?
Have me be more concise, yeah. But this is something which is I have this problem personally. I don't think it applies to everyone.
Well, I notice it applies to lots of people, so don't be so hard on yourself. Okay,
Yeah, maybe.
so we're almost done here. We only have two more questions. The next one I have is how did I, as the coach, encourage you to practice and apply what you've learned outside of the coaching sessions?
hmm Yeah, so I think the first thing was the journal. It was in the first things, the first lesson, and that was definitely one big help because once you start writing, you see that you need to find some words, and then it becomes very easy to see what you need actually to
Mm-hmm.
to write. Um, and you are compelled to find new words and new expressions, and you always say, but how do you say this in English and so on, and it's very interesting. And I don't know if it was you that encouraged me to go to this other English speaking events,
It was.
like to yeah. I think it was because we've talked about the environment and how environment changes you, and yeah, I've tried to myself in an English speaking environment,
Yeah.
and
Maybe talk
yeah,
about how
I
you
think
started going to that T5 social events.
All right. Yeah. So I've there's where it's called T5, and they have daily events which are nice that you meet new people, and it's also people from around the world, like a lot of countries. And they speak mostly English. Like if you go to the bar, even if though it's in Bucharest, you have to order in English. So mostly of the conversation, like 80% of the conversation is in English. And you have, of course, good English speakers and bad English speakers, but there are also native English speakers, like from USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and it helps. It helps a lot.
Nice. So last question. In what ways has your overall confidence or your comfort in using English improved as a result of my coaching?
Yeah, as I was saying, now I'm in the comfort zone with speaking English. Also, before I was in the comfort zone, but not that much. I mean, I had more. There were more times when I was struggling to find the right words, and I know that my accent, I think, is better now, even though I still have work to do.
There's always work to do. Even native speakers have always have work to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true.
All right, Vlad. Well, that's pretty much it for this testimonial. Thank you so much.